Hello, I'm Dave Watson, District 1 Counselor for the town of Brunswick, and today we're talking about rabies, another episode in the rabies series. Today we're talking with inland fishery game wardens, and I'd like to introduce Evan Franklin, a game warden for the area of Brunswick.
So I'm Game Warden Evan Franklin. I'm the game warden assigned to the Freeport-Brunswick area. I've been in this patrol area for 15 years, and I'm here with Dave to talk about Maine Warden Services' response to sick, nuisance, and rabid wildlife in the area.
I'd also like to thank Evan for being here. He went to Brunswick High School, living in Durham, and so he's a fellow Dragon, so I'm very proud and pleased to have the ability to talk with Evan today. So, to explain what we're doing in the interview today, starts back in end of June, beginning of July of 2023, where I was attacked by a rabid woodchuck. What I did is I was able to render the woodchuck, and then I called 911, the Brunswick Dispatch, the PSAP in Brunswick. And Evan, can you explain to us what process took place once I made that contact?
Yep. So game wardens are generally the first line with suspected rabid animal contacts, and by contact we mean a bite or a scratch as defined by Maine Center for Disease Control. So in this situation where there was human contact between a wild animal and the animal was available for testing, it was a game warden's job to make sure that the species got directly to the lab for testing. Since the contact between the woodchuck and Mr. Watson was a bite, it was a game warden's job to respond with the Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife to his residence, secure the animal, and transport it to the health lab in Augusta, where it received a positive test for rabies. That news allowed the Center for Disease Control to work with Dave directly on his health treatment, as rabies is generally considered a fatal disease without treatment. Oftentimes, game wardens receive multiple calls a day for reports of sick and injured wildlife. Game wardens generally call the complainant back for further information. In this situation, where the animal is considered a rabies vector animal or an animal that's capable of carrying rabies, we often try to respond or seek additional assistance if we're not in the area. Game wardens respond to dozens of complaints a day on nuisance, sick, and injured wildlife. In some situations, a game warden isn't readily available. Other responders that could respond in place of a game warden would be a local animal control officer, a game warden from a neighboring patrol area, or in this case, a wildlife conflict agent, which is a specific Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife employee that specializes in dealing with sick, nuisance, and injured wildlife. Some of those additional resources are wildlife conflict agents. Our wildlife conflict agents are supervised by Game Warden Corporal Cody Lounder.
I'm Cody Lounder. I supervise the WCA's wildlife conflict agents across the state. They're spread from Bangor down to York County, and essentially these positions are contracted through the state to take care of nuisance, sick, injured, or rabid animals.
A key to their success is being available to respond to these types of complaints, which allow field game wardens to focus on hunting, fishing, trapping, boat, snowmobile, and ATV law enforcement.
Generally speaking, these wildlife conflict agents are employed during the summer months.
What's important for the public to know is that game wardens routinely respond to questions and requests regarding nuisance, sick, and injured wildlife. If you see an animal that you think is sick or injured, you can call 911 or our public safety phone number in Augusta to talk to a game warden. Game wardens generally call people back and ask more pointed questions on what the situation is. Animals that will be given priority generally revolve around public safety or rabies vector species that are showing signs of neurological impairment or have had contact with a human or domestic animal.
And for further information, you can visit our Department of Inland Fisheries and Wildlife website.